Well, good morning, beautiful, and welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus, where we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together in a full face makeup tutorial. And we're going to continue on in our journey of the book of James with our book, Color Me James. So don't have the book yet? No worries. Just jump on in with us. So my name is Wendy, and we're going to continue on with the technique that we learned last week. Last week we used pink and black. Today we're going to be using brown, champagne, and black. So we're going to see how versatile that same liquid eyeshadow, kind of a modified cut crease, how versatile that is when you use it with different colors. So go ahead in the chat and let me know where you're coming from. I'm pointing over here because that's where I'm going to see you. So go ahead and point in the chat. Let me know where you are coming from, and let me celebrate that with you. And also, let me know what your favorite song has been so far from C'est La Soul for our Color Me James series as we've been working through there. So grab your palette, grab your lashes, grab your brushes, and get on back here.
A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Voice stays acting, can't wait.
All right. So let's see, what did I forget to say? I forgot to say that our easy makeup theme for today is going to be brown, champagne, and black cut crease eyeshadow tutorial, which is super easy for beginners, especially those of us who are over 40. So we are going to be playing today with the Juvia's Place coffee shop. So if you have that palette, go ahead and grab that and join me with that. All right, so our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And then for this week, let's talk about, I mentioned this already a little bit about Color Me James. This is our book. Comes in 3 different ways. We've got the ebook, which you can use in Procreate to color, and then you can use in, what's it called? I think it's called, it's not Goodreads. Anyways, go to the website and the PDF ebook will tell you what apps to use to be able to use it and to journal in the document itself. Also, it's in a perfect binding, just a paperback binding, and that comes from Amazon. And then the spiral bound version, which is my personal favorite, and that is going to come straight from my website, a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com. Okay, so since last week was kind of a review week, I chose to pick my favorite song from C'est La Soul for our song for this week, since we don't really technically have a review verse. So without further ado, here is my favorite song.
She didn't plan to fall, but the ground was familiar. It looked like comfort, smelled like just one time, felt like maybe God forgot her name. But that voice, that whisper, it didn't come from him. That trap was homemade, stitched together from loneliness, frustration, old wounds that never healed right. And in the silence, she heard the truth. This temptation ain't from God, this fire, it started in me. Don't let anyone under pressure to give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. You feel.
Oh my gosh, that I think it's a little bit of the vibe to that. Let me see if I can get the other audio regulated. Here we go. Okay. I think it's a little bit of the vibe to that, but I just love how that song flows. And so that is my personal favorite song from the 11 songs that we have done covering James chapter 1. Now, one thing that I find so cool about these is that all of the music has directly quoted scripture in it. Now, sometimes it's a chorus, sometimes it's the verses, but the verse is directly quoted in the song. And so a beautiful way, just like when you were a kid and you went to vacation Bible school, how did you learn the verse? Usually there was a song, and that song had the verse quoted in it. So same. This is like VBS for adults. Okay. So let's see, we talked about that. Let's look at our verse for this week. So you can see that picture on your screen right there. And our verse for this week. Oh gosh, I can't see the top of it. Okay, my dear friends, okay, hold on. Y'all can see it easier than I can see it. Okay, my dear friends, don't let public opinion influence how you live out your glorious Christ-oriented faith. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit and a street person wearing rags comes in right after him, you say to the man in the suit, "Oh, sit here, sir. This is the best seat in the house." And either ignore the street person or say, "You better sit here in the back row." Haven't you segregated God's children and proved that you are judges who can't be trusted? Now, I cannot wait to hear what she does with that song this week, because that's a lot. But I love that story. There was a song, gosh, I can't remember what it was. There was a Christian song that came out, I don't know, I feel like it was 5 years ago, but it's probably really 10 years ago. That was right about this. And gosh, I hate this sentiment and I love this sentiment, because how many of us are guilty of this exact very same thing from time to time? And again, what is the book of James all about? The proof is in the pudding. So if you find yourself having done this, or maybe currently you're in the practice of this kind of thing, the good news is, under the blood of Jesus, you have been forgiven and you can turn on a dime today. It may take lots of prayer and it's definitely going to take some practice, but you know what? You and God got this. All right. So all of our makeup that we're going to be using today can be found in the show notes of this podcast on whatever platform you're on. You can also find them on my website, a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com, in the show notes of the video, whichever version it is that you're looking at. You're going to see each one of those products listed out. Now, you may have products in your home that do almost the same thing, or maybe something you have works better for your skin type. More power to you. I'm just giving you the options so you can see the exact products and colors that I'm using. And if you feel led to try something new and go on an Ultaholic excursion, then go ahead and do that, because you're going to be seeing today. I accidentally bought some stuff while I was getting my hair cut. Okay, maybe accidentally is not the best word. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to have that verse scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Now, I told you to go ahead and give me a shout out where you're coming from. Woo-woo! Let's see. I got Thea, hello. Nice, coming from England. And then let's see, could you remind me about what is a cut crease? Yes. So a cut crease, I don't think I can get a picture loaded fast enough. So a cut crease is where you have a shadow that's this is hard to explain. If you go look at my social media, you'll see it's like there's a part on the bottom that is cut in. There's a definitive line separating this bottom part here from what you've got going on around the side and the top. If you look at my social media from last week, or the video thumbnail on YouTube for last week, you'll see the picture of what it was that I did. I've got the eyes open so you can see it above that fold. Because one thing that's great for cut crease is if you have hooded eyes like I do. And then it also has a picture where my eyes are closed so you can see what that looks like. Oftentimes they are perceived to be difficult, or people make them more difficult than they need to be. So what we do is, what I do, in the mouse in my pocket, modify it just a little bit so that it's easier to do, but you still get that same beautiful look. So today, I mentioned that I did an Ulta thing. So today I'm going to try a new liquid shadow. It's not new, but it's new to me. I've used others, and last week you used a Juvia's Place as well, but this is from the Juvia's Place coffee shop line. So we're going to open that up. and we're going to use that, and you'll see as we get along. So what you're going to accidentally, yeah, right, Rachel? So you'll see as we go along that what it's going to take, you're going to need a light for up on the brow bone, a medium dark for your main color that's going to set the tone for your color theme. Then you're going to need a black or a super dark brown that you're just going to use a little bit on the outside and right on the bottom edge of that lid. And then you're going to need a liquid shadow that's in a very light shade. It can be opposing colors or it can be the same family. Today we're going to be using that pink and black that we did last week. We're going to be doing a brown and champagne and black this week. So completely different vibe, same technique, and you'll get to see how that works. This today is going to be more of a everyday glam. So lots of super fun. Okay, and there are just, don't laugh as I open new boxes today. So, okay. So let us stop talking and get on with this. Again, the verse is scrolling on the bottom of your screen. Just a reminder, you can ask any question that you have while we are live, and I will do my best to get that asked and answered on here, unless you're a troll. I don't answer trolls. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start out with our Professional Primer, and this is a mattifying primer from Benefit Cosmetics. And even if you have normal or dry skin, because of the texture of this will still work with you, but it's going to help you keep that nice, pleasant matte finish from your foundation, from all your makeup as you go throughout the day. So we're just going to work that between the tips of our fingers. Any place that you have, maybe you got a little bit of oil, maybe you get, even if it's dry separation, maybe you get a little separation from the foundation. You're just going to put that there. For those of us over 40, you're going to go around those lips. Well, and especially if you have dry skin, and even if you're not over 40, go around your lips here. That's going to help your lip liner and your lipstick do its job better. And then for me, because I am a combo, I'm going to pay special attention, and I'm going to work out from the center of my face so that in that T-zone, where I get the oily, that will help to control that oil. And you are so welcome for that explanation. Sorry I couldn't whip out a picture fast enough, but you'll see what we're talking about soon enough. Okay, so now we've got that there. What are we gonna do? We're actually gonna prime our eyelids. So I'm gonna use Eye Prime from Juvia's Place. I am the shade 1. Even if you have a little bit of, what if I have troll hair? Oh my gosh, I got to put this up there. She got jokes this morning. What if I have troll hair? Okay, so I love troll hair. So if you have troll hair, get your camera and I'll bring you on each step. Okay, I don't know what I was just thinking. If you're doing your eye primer, do not put that much out because that's enough to prime an elephant's eyelids. Okay, so we're just going to tap this on there. Oh, see what I'm talking about? And then we're going to wipe the rest of this off on a tissue because evidently I shouldn't talk and do makeup. Okay, so, oh gosh. So even if you have darker pigment to your skin, and this seems very light, if you're doing colors like, well, even this one, but if you're doing particularly light colors, maybe you're doing like an orange, a yellow, pink, something, maybe a lilac, this light color, even on a dark pigment skin, this light color, oh my gosh, yes, I have officially made a mess. So you can tell this is live because I'm going to show you how to fix natural disasters. And I'm not talking about volcanoes erupting, I'm talking about windy erupting. Okay, so we're just going to get that. There we go. Okay, so yeah, okay, that was a bit much. But you can see eyelids are kind of whited out now. That's going to help our colors. That's going to help your eyeshadow be able to do its job a little more effectively. It's going to last better. It's going to reduce creasing. So many things. So for today, we are definitely going to be priming our eyes as well. And we'll just look a little crazy for a couple of seconds. So don't worry about it. Nobody has to see you. Okay, I feel like my camera's a little tall. Let me just set that down a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, so now that we got that, we are going to move on to our foundation and get that going. Today I'm using a Morphe M439. And we're going to be using that brush with our Juvia's Place I Am Magic. I am the shade Maricao 710. So get over to your nearest Ulta and you can get shade match for that. Let's see. I shouldn't talk into that. Right? Okay. Hey. Don't try to bring reason and logic into this. Okay, so again, Morphe M439, using that Juvia's Place I Am Magic. I'm just going to go straight on here, and I guess I'm a little heavy-handed today, so there we go. That's enough to do my face, my neck, and maybe my whole chest. So we're just going to tap it. And then because there's too much on here, I'm just going to tap this off on my tissue that I always keep on my lap, and now you know why. Okay, so we're just going to blend that out. And we're going to make sure we go under that chin there, get that blended out so we don't have any harsh lines leading down to our neck. We're going to go around our lips. Making sure we get nice and good around those brows. Now, I sort of forgot to do this, but let me just show you something. I did not put concealer on yet. Look at that. Look at that looks like. I know, right? So concealer does matter. And you know what I do not have right here? I did not grab my concealer. Okay, it's just one of them times where I got to go over there and grab it. There we go. Fortunately, it's only just a little ways across the room. So, bye-bye under eye. Maybe that's why I did so much with the concealer on the eye, because I was anticipating in the back of my mind that I was going to be doing the bye-bye under eye. We're going to run with that. My subconscious was ruling over my conscious. So we're just going to put that on the top there. We're going to go right here in the dark pot. In the dark spot on the inner corner. We're just going to blend that out a little bit. Going to let that set for a second. One thing that this does better is once it warms up to your body temperature, it's going to blend out more smoothly, more evenly, and just look better. So we're just going to talk for a brief moment, and then we're just going to blend that out with that same foundation brush that we had. Blending that out into there we go. Right on that nose. I like to make sure that I get around my nostrils good. We're going to blend that up into that hairline well. Okay. And while we may be out of order, there you go. Now we have one color, even playing field, so we can add in our colors where we want to. So I am going to start out with a couple of new things. So here we go. So the first new thing we're going to do is Juvia's Place Bronze Liquid Bronzer. This is in the shade Almond. I had been asked about using liquid bronzer, so here we go. This one's it's a little pale in the container, but when I put it on, I think it's going to be about right. It might be a little bit on the light side, but we'll see. Okay, I will tell you, a little bit of this goes a long way. So if you pick this up, make sure you take off the tip of that, because it's pretty good. So we're just going to go right here. We're just going to do like 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to do 3 little tiny ones. I'm going to do a tiny line right here, tiny line right there. I'm going to drag it under here from the ear to just before the corner of the mouth there. Okay. And that should be more than enough of the bronzer. And I couldn't decide on what brush to use today. So I like the shape of this one. This is actually a Fenty contouring brush. So we're going to start here. We're going to go along the edge of the jawline. We're going to go back and forth this way. And then we're going to go from that line down. That way we get a nice clean edge, but we blend that out. Okay, here, we're going to use that same shape that we usually do. We're just tapping and blushing. Actually, that color's pretty good. Yeah, when I did the tester on my hand, it did come out darker than what it looks like on the outside of the bottle. So I'm glad that I tested it. Okay, then we're going to come up here, right along that hairline. Little side to side action. Then we're going to blend it down just a little. Right beside the nose, we're going to go from the inside of that eye right about here, right alongside that nose. Now this particular technique is really going to allow you to shape that nose. Nice. Now, usually I do the bronzer and then the highlighter, but today, the bronzer, the highlighter, then the blush. Today we're going to do it in graduated order. So we're going to do the bronzer, the blush, the highlighter. Let's see, you can forget. Yeah, right. As long as you don't forget the elotes. I have the alarm set. Okay. So we're going to grab our blush. I've used this one before. This one is the Juvia's Place Blush Lily Glow. Really, really like this one. So we have the bronzer on here already. So now we're going to grab that Lily Glow. And because I've had this for a minute, it's not quite so... I just like to remove a little bit of the product from the tip because these, like I said, are so pigmented. So we're going to come here. We're going to do 2 dots here. I'm just going to do like 1 right there. Maybe a tap and a tap. Okay. Same brush, just wipe it off a tad. We're just gonna go here, blend that up. Right, kind of on the top of that bronzer, on the top overlapping part. We're gonna go here, we're just gonna blend that in. Just gonna tap that little pink we put right there and tap that out. Just want a little hint, not like a whole bunch of color, just a little hint. Okay, now that we got all that, we're gonna go to the fun one. I love this one. The shimmer on this is just spectacular. This is the Juvia's Place Starstruck. So again, I'm gonna take this. We're gonna take just the tip of it off and just let what's naturally on the tip of that brush survive. So we're gonna put 2 dots right up here. We're going to give a little tiny line right there. Again, this is mostly dry. Going to do a little here, a little here, a little here. Now with this one, I don't like to use a brush as much. I'm just going to use my 2 fingers. We're just going to tap this out. Okay, maybe I am going to use a brush because that feels like that might be a little. There you go. Nice. Right there on that tip, we want some. And we're just going to 2 finger this over here. Nice. Okay, now that we have got that, I was anticipating the color was going to be a little strong, so super hesitant about liquid blush. Yeah, a lot of people are, and I was at first. I don't know, it seems to take, liquid blush seems to take just like a smidge longer to put it on, but I like the way it looks better. So now we're going to, oh, I didn't show you the thing. This is a dubious place. This is their setting powder. We're going to go under the eye using that eye. I think this is called I Am Magic Puff. And I tried to find links for y'all. I found this in Ulta, and I'm assuming that they've got some kind of corner on the market of it because I couldn't find it on the Juvia's website, nor could I find it on the Ulta, Amazon. I've only seen it in store at Ulta. So I do like it. I think it's called Silky Setting Powder. And we're just going to set that. Okay, maybe I need to, there we go. So with this particular one, you're just going to set that puff. It has a nice, this is a big opening. You can see by the scale to my hand. So you're going to set that puff into the reservoir and then tap it off and then press it in. And the one thing about the Lily Glow that I used for the liquid blush is it's kind of a, it's a little bit transparent. So you're going to put it on and it's going to look like, wow, but then it's going to kind of fade away a little bit. So you can see right now, after having put it on, it's more of a gentle. So if you want to, you can come back after you do everything else and add a little bit of that, because I probably will come back and do a little bit of the highlighter on that. How about if I put my brush back where it goes? Okay, there we go. So that, now we are contoured. You can see we got a nice line. Well, not line, but we've got a nice contouring here. You can see the hollow of our cheek. Our nose is nice. Like how the top up here against the line is a little bit shaded as well. So it just gives you some depth and dimension. So what are we going to do with our lips? Well, let's say our verse together before we jump into our lips. So that is scrolling around on our screen right now. Okay, it's a little bit along. It'll happen. Okay, so let me talk to you about the products we're going to be using while we're waiting for it to go around. MAC Chestnut Lip Pencil is going to be our liner. And then we're going to use we're having a MAC lip day. We are going to be using the MAC. This is the Maximal Matte Lipstick. This is the Viva Planet. That's what we're going to be using. It's a nice neutral with a hint of pink. Okay, here's the verse. You ready? My dear friend, don't let public opinion influence how you live out your glorious Christ-oriented faith. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit, and a street person wearing rags comes in right after him, and you say to the man in the suit, "Sit here, sir. This is the best seat in the house," and either ignore the street person or say, "Better sit here in the back row." Haven't you segregated God's children and proved that you are judges who can't be trusted? James 2, 1-4. So that is going to be our verses that we're looking at this week. So again, we got the MAC Chestnut. We're going to line that lip just outside that lip line. Just do a single line for right now. Oh, let me start here. Give a nice Cupid's bow curve there. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do a little spot in the center, just below that lip line, and then work that out to the outside corner. All right. Now we want a little bit of an ombre going on here. So you're going to take that same pencil with a little bit lighter pressure and line to the inside of what you just did. You can kind of feather it a little bit. It's almost like you're shading on a coloring page. I'm telling you, wearing makeup is like finger painting every morning. You could even get your finger in there if you want to. There we go. Now, what I was talking about with the finger. If you take your middle finger, which doesn't have as much pressure as your pointer, and just drag it right on the edge, you'll see how that softens that. Just make sure you don't go to that outside line and disturb that, kind of messing up the line that you so beautifully created. Okay, well, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to grab that Viva Planet. And we're going to start in the middle and then work to the outside. So get that middle, which is clean and clear, covered first, and then go to the outside. There we go. And now we have a nice, neutral, clean lip that is going to balance out beautifully with the browns that we're going to be using here in just a second. Okay, so we've already talked about how we're going to be, we've got the eye primer on the lid, so it's nice and clean and pale, ready for the colors that we're going to deposit on it. So we're going to be using, well, 3 things really today. So the first thing is the Coffee Shop. And the Coffee Shop does have a nice brown. So if you want a little less intensity, maybe a little less glam look, you can use the dark brown in this palette. I'm kind of going for more of a glam. So I'm using the Urban Decay Blackout. This is a single shadow. This is the old packaging. Now it's like a square clear thing. And then the other thing we're going to be using is we're going to be breaking into the Juvia's Place. This is part of the Coffee Shop line. So it's going to take these 3 things here to get you the colors that you need on your lid. Now, feel free to use whatever products you have, because you know that one thing I'm a proponent of is using what you have. You don't need to go buy a whole bunch of stuff to do your makeup and look beautiful with your makeup. You can use what you have. So you'll see how I'm doing it, and then you do it with what you've got. So we're going to start out, again, 3 colors, a light, a medium dark, and a dark, and then you're going to need that liquid, pale liquid shadow color. So I'm starting out with a Morphe M433, and we're going to go into the Coffee Shop, and we're going to start out with this one. Then we're going to do a little bit of this. We're going to go over the top of it with that. And then we're going to come in with the liquid shadow that we're using. So for me, this brown was a little kind of coppery. So we're going to set this down as a base first, and then put this over the top, and then it kind of resolves that color that I didn't like. So we're just going to go with that tip right there. And that's going to go up here on your brow bone. And this is just going to give us a nice, use any of these that kind of go with your skin tone. But that's just going to give you a nice color that's kind of non-color color, just a neutral for you to blend into and have something nice and contrasting light up there. Well, contrasting is not the word, but just a different shade definition. There we go. So we're going to put that up there like that. Set that brush aside because you may or may not need that here in just a minute. And then we're going to grab, alas, well, okay, so this is a MAC. You're going to look for an angled eyeshadow blender. And this one has a little tiny bit of pink on it. So let me just get that a little cleaned off. There we go. So you need an angled blender eyeshadow brush. This is an old, I want to say it's like 272, 273, something like that. But no matter what eyeshadow brush set you have, they're going to have an angled blender. So we're going to go into this one right here. There you go. And then we're going to go into this one. So we're going to start here. You're just going to get it on the face right there. We're going to straddle along that bone. You should feel your bone right underneath the brush. And then we're going to fill in that outer third. And then we're going to come in just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and grab that tip, turn it around. And come over here. Now I want to raise it right here. we're going to bring that up just a little bit. So that's what you want right there. Let's do that same thing on the other side. Now don't worry about it looking all choppy and all that right now, because we're going to blend that out and fix that in just a minute. So again, right on that eye socket bone. Fill in that third. And then bring it right into about halfway. Now we've got this kind of ending here on the corner. We're going to bring it up just like we did that other side. Just like that. Now you've been with me the amount of time. You know that one thing that's important for hooded eyes is when you look forward, you need to be able to see that dark brown peeking up above the fold of your eye. So right now you can barely see it, with reason. Because when I come in with that shimmery color, I want that to kind of blend out and balance up that little bit to remove that fold thing we got going on. So I'm just going to use that same brush. I'm going to go into this one here. Again, you're just getting it on the face of that brush, just right on the face. We're not doing side to side, just on the face. And we're going to go over that with that other color. And you'll see this one's a little shimmery, but it doesn't quite have enough color to hold its own. And we're just going to go over that brown. Now, how are we going to fix that line thing I talked about? So you're going to tap it a couple times, and then right where those two are meeting, you're just going to go back and forth until that line becomes a little blurred. Now you want a space. You want to be able to see that lighter color right under that brow bone there. So we're just going to back and forth a little bit till we've widened that color and softened that edge. Now, if you do this and you find, oh gosh, I went too far, grab that first brush, tap it in there, and just go over that top part. There we go. Now, if you see I got a little bit of fallout right there? So grab your fluff and just dust that away before that tries to become part of your makeup. There we go. We don't want you. Get away. Okay, so now that we've got that going on, we're going to go ahead and actually let's go, since we've already got the brown out and everything, I'm going to grab a smudger. This one is a Real Techniques, like this one because it's a little bit bigger. We get a little more smudge with it. This is the 87 from Real Techniques. And to start out with, we're going to use just a little bit of this, again, just on the face, right here on that outside. We're going to go about halfway with that. Okay, now we're going to use that same brush. We're going to go in that lighter brown, and this way we're going to go 3/4 of the way across. Right over what you just did. And then we're going to come up and around the corner. I like to do it kind of like in little upward flicks. There we go. Now let's get a little depth and definition on that outside corner. So we're going to grab our Urban Decay Blackout, or you can use the dark brown that's in that Juvia's Place Coffee Shop palette. And I'm just going to use the same brush. We're just going to stick with this Real Techniques. Again, we're just going to go right in there on the tip. You don't need a lot of this. So just like a little pink pink, and that's good. We're going to go right here on the outside corner. Bring it in just a little, and then we're going to come up. Black is one of those colors, if you get fallout from that, it's going to be a little hard. So we're going to try to reduce the black fallout amount. So just use a little bit and then just do it more than one time. And we're just going no more than halfway right on that line. Here we go. You can see how that really added some extra dimension to that outside. I'm going to do that same thing, and I'm just going to go right here on that outside corner, just like a smidge. So then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Right here on the outside corner, going just a little ways. I'm going to do it again, and we're going to go right up here about no more than halfway. We're just adding a little bit of intensity right here. And then we're going to take that and we're going to go around the bottom. Just right there on that corner. Okay. I think I'm going to grab the angled brush I was using. I'm going to do this just a little bit. I'm going to bring this in just a smidge. Just make sure I've got some of that nice brown right here. Okay, we're going to grab our duster. Nice. Okay, so for the fun and what makes this a cut crease, Anthea. So what we've got right here, you can see we've got a dark and we've got a definitely a line kind of thing happening, but it's not like very sharp and crisp right now, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our, there we go. This is the Juvia's Place, again, part of the Coffee Shop series. This one is called Vanilla Velvet. And this is just a liquid eyeshadow. Nice, shimmery, beautiful, beautiful color. So when we undo this, you'll see that it's got a doe foot on it, nice and flat. This one comes out pretty clean. So if you have like a blip on the edge of it, just scrape that blip off. This one came out nice and clean. We're going to go right here in the inside corner. And right up to that edge line that we've got. Now, if you need more, just dip it in again. But we're going to continue that edge. And then we're just going to shimmer that out right to those colors. I'm actually going to bring it up just a little bit more. So you've got that nice clean edge right there. That clean edge and that differentiation of color is what makes that a cut crease. So see, that's what I'm talking about. That right there. Just take that and take that little thing off right there. We're going to do that same thing on the other side, right on the inside. Go right along that lash line, about halfway. Flip it over if you need to. And then we're just going to take that line and work it over. Now, when you very first put these on, they do have a tendency to feel a little sticky. It's just while they dry down. They've got to be a little bit fluid so that you have an opportunity to work with them and kind of put them where you want them to be. So for right now, we're just going to leave that alone and do its thing for just a minute while we add some liner. So I'm going to use the Killer Liner from Too Faced. If I can get the lid off. There we go. And we're going to line from the outside corner here on the bottom to halfway across on the top. And then we're going to do the same thing from the other side. And then we're going to go from the outside corner to about halfway. And I'd like to really get it into that lash line. Now I want a little extra on the outside, so I'm actually going to put a little on that waterline right here. Not all the way, but just a little bit on that outside corner. That's just going to give you a little bit more depth on that outside. Okay, so you can see this is what we got right now. And we are going to be wearing false lashes. I sort of had a, I don't know where my lid went. I sort of had a lash catastrophe this morning as I was prepping to get ready. Last week I wore the Kiss Masterpiece Avant-Garde, and I was trying to comb through them, and the lashes were not have any part of that. So we're going to actually be using the Ardell Active Lash today, and it goes with the little I hate to say less dramatic now that I got all this brown and black on my eyelid, but a little bit less dramatic look compared to what we had last week. So I'm going to be using the Too Faced. This is the Easy Glide Liquid Waterproof Eyeliner. We're just going to do a nice clean line from the outside corner to the inside. Just give us something nice and clean for those lashes to go to. Now, you know, I was just thinking about it. And one thing that we did do last week that I have not done yet today, we did raise the eyeliner just a little bit on that outside corner. So, well, let's do the brow and then we'll come back and do that because I want that liquid eyeliner to dry first. And then we'll come back and I'll show you what I'm talking about on the outside corner. So brows, I'm going to be using the Bad Gal Bang. This is a mascara, yes, but it is my brow product. So whatever your brow product is that you're going to be using, you're going to do that here. If you need help for your brows, go to your nearest Ulta Benefit Brow Bar. Let the brow professionals help you out. They can wax, they can thread, they can tint. They will show you, like, bring a picture of the kind of brow look you want, and then they'll show you what products you need to be able to accomplish that look that you are looking for. That's one thing I love about them, man. They are brow professionals. We want someone who knows best about brows and current trends. There you go. And the thing about using a mascara for your brow is once you get that on there, man, it's set. It's not going to go anything for the rest of the day. Not that I'm encouraging all of us to run out and get tinted mascara for our eyes, but if you have for our eyebrows, but if you have tinted, fashion colored hair, definitely a fun thing. Get on Amazon. There are all kinds of mascaras that are colored pink, purple, blue, green. Have fun with it. One of my favorites was, I love the Bad Gal Bang Blue, and that one works really nice on your brows as well. Okay, so back to what we're doing here. So our liner should now be dry. So we're going to take the liner here on the outside, and we're going to go to halfway. We're going to go just above that line that we did, and we're going to just draw an angled line going in. And then what we're going to end up with is 3 widths on the outside corner coming down to 1 width right in the middle. So let's do that one more time. It's going to feel a little bit weird as you're putting it on there because, you're coloring up above where you usually are. But look at the difference between those two sides, right? So we're going to come over here. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to do a line to the middle, another line on top of that one so that we've got 3 widths on this outside corner. And this is a waterproof pencil. Come on, eyelid. Okay, my eyelid is having some kind of problem right there. Let's take... I'm going to do this right here. And I'm going to try to fix that. There we go. This is just an angled liner brush. But I was having a different opinion about how that was going to work. One of the benefits of getting older is you get wrinkles everywhere, including your eyelids. Okay. I'm just going to do that one more time. Okay. So what have we got now? Now we have got some beautiful shading. We've got that cut crease added in there. We've got a nice eyeliner. We've got lips that are balancing that out. Let's get us some lashes so we can round out this look. So, last week I shared about my bad gal bang being a little bit on the drier side. So I just went and got another bad gal bang. I know, yet another thing that was in my Ulta bag. Oh, it's the word. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yes, I love this mascara. It is a water resistant formula. Does great. You could go to a wedding with it. It's not going to drip, flake, crack, peel, whatever. It's going to do great. But if you decided that you wanted to go swimming or something like that, you should probably go and transition to the waterproof formula. That will hang tough for situations like that where you're doing a little more heavy water intensity. So I'm going to grab my, what is this thing called? The Tweezerman Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler. And we're going to curl the lashes a little bit so they blend in with those false lashes. And then we'll put those false lashes on. So go ahead and find your sweet spot. When you clamp down, you want it to grab your lashes and everything be in between these blades, but you don't want it to pinch your eyelid. If you feel it pinching your eyelid, release it, pull forward just a smidge and try it again. Okay, so we're going here. And really, we're just trying to do a little bit of a curl because we're going to put the false lashes on. So we're waiting for the burst to roll around for us. And we're going to say about half that burst and then move to the other side. Actually, given the length of this verse, we're going to just go ahead and jump in there. Just read where you are. Okay, here we go. Here it goes. Coming around. Okay. My dear friends, don't let public opinion influence how you live out your glorious Christ-oriented faith. There we go. We're just going to switch sides. Here we go. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit and a street person wearing rags comes in right after him, and you say to the man in the suit, "Sit here, sir. This is the best seat in the house." Okay, that's going to be too long on that side, so we're going to go back here for just a second. And either ignore the street person or say, "Better sit here in the back row." Haven't you segregated God's children and proved, here we go, that you are judges who can't be trusted? Okay, and that's James 2:1-4. So we're going to grab that bad gal bang. A little bit of crazy kind of person curl and talking today. Okay, so grabbing that bad gal bang, we're going to add a coat on the top lashes. And what we're doing here is just trying to get a nice coat on there so that they blend in seamlessly with the false lashes that we're putting on. So you don't need to be too... the only reason I'm doing one coat is because we really want the false lashes to do their job. We don't want our lashes to really even be visible. So if you have dark I would say no. If you got black lashes, you can probably avoid this step altogether. But totally your call. If you like volume, go ahead and do this too, no matter what color your lashes are. All right. So then we're going to do the other side, and we're sweeping back on those tips so that they get nice and colored. There we go. Making sure we're going all the way from the outside edge to the inside edge. And now we're going to do that same thing on the bottom lashes, but because they're not getting false lashes, we're going to make sure we do a regular coat on the bottom ones. So sweeping underneath those tips. Making sure we're going from root to tip. We want to go all the way from the back end of those lashes all the way to the tips there. And because this is a new tube of mascara, it's a little bit on the thinner side, so I may go over those bottom lashes one more time after it dries just a little bit. Okay, let's do the other side here. There you go. Again, from root to tip, and we're sweeping under those tips there. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sorry. I think I was turned too far. Okay. Again, new tube mascara. I'm going to do the bottoms one more time just because I feel like the mascara is a little bit, you know, when you very first start a tube and it tends to be a little bit on the thinner side. So let's go ahead and do the bottoms one more time. You don't necessarily need to do this, but I feel like for me, I need to. There we go. Okay, much, much better. So, like I said, I had false lashes issues this morning, so we're going to be using the Ardell lash. This is part of their Active Lash series, which was made for chicks who like to exercise and wear false lashes. So if that is you, there you go. The Gains is a nice series. It is kind of almost a flare, but not quite. So it is a little bit shorter on the inside, goes a little bit longer on the outside, but it's not like extremely noticeable. So I don't know if it technically qualifies in the flare category. Okay, I'm going to set those lashes in front of me. We're going to grab our tool. This is from Velour. I have already trimmed these. If you need to trim them, you're going to do that from the outside edge of the lashes. So you would just kind of set them there, do like a dry fit, cut from the outside edge. Almost everybody is going to need to take a little bit off of the edge of these. So let me see what I got going on here. I am going to just take a look at that band real quick. I did not get to give a pre-look of these because I was playing with the other ones. Okay, so we're going to take that lash right there in the middle. I'm going to take my Allure 18-hour lash glue. This is clear adhesive. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shake because, I don't know, it seems a thing to do. I don't know that it says that on the package that you need to do, but I just always do it. Okay, right there on the top of that band, you're going to put that adhesive. We're making sure to pay special attention to those outside edges. That's where you're going to be most likely to have lift. So we're going to get those really good. There we go. I'm going to set that down in front of me. I'm going to grab the other lash. Well, quite possibly. Let me just take a look at that band. Make sure. Looks like I got a couple of straggler hairs. There we go. We're just going to make sure this one is nice and cleaned and ready to go like the other one before we put the adhesive on. So there we go. Let me grab that. And actually, there we go. Okay, now it's good. We're going to grab that right there in the center. Lash adhesive right there on the top of that band. And on the back side of that band. And again, making sure we pay special attention to those outside corners to minimize our lift possibilities. We're going to set those in front of us for just a second. When you first put that adhesive on, you're going to see that the clear is going to be clear and shiny. Black is going to be nice, black and shiny. So as they start to dry down a little bit, they'll start to lose their shininess. The clear will start to maybe just show a little tiny bit of, you'll see where it just starts to show a little bit kind of see-through, and then you know that your lash is ready to go. So I'm going to take these, and I've wore these before, but if your lashes are new, you're going to want to take the corners and kind of do this. If you have rounded lashes, you may want to do this every time anyways. I'm going to grab those lashes. This one's going to go on this eye. Right where your lash meets your eyelid, right on that eyeliner line that we put. I'm going to walk that outside edge down. Here we go. I'm going to take the tip of that tool and just work my lashes into that so that they're all like together. You want it looking like one thing, not like you got like your lashes and then those lashes. And you'll see right now while we've got it on, you can kind of see like the white. That will dry down and be clear, so don't even worry about that just yet. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side, so we give it a little bit of a curl. We did that. Grab that right in the center. Put that right on the top of that line there. Here we go. Walk that inside corner in. Get that right on that liner line. And then the outside corner. Okay, we're going to use that tip. We're just going to work that in. Okay, now I got this weird thing. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if you can see it. Right here on the inside. Oh, now it went away. I had like a lash going like crazy, a different way from everybody else. I was going to show you how to fix that, but it did it all on its own. Yay. All right, just making sure we're all nice and mixed in there. There we go. Looks like this one's giving me a little lift problem. So we're just going to take it and convince it. No, no, no. You actually want to be down there. Just like when you super glue something, sometimes you have to like separate, put together, for it to get its full tackiness and to stay. Same thing's true with lash adhesive. I mean, adhesive is adhesive no matter what it is that you're gluing. So we're just going to press those down, make sure they're good to stay. Here we go. So you can see now we've got that cut crease. We've got that shimmer going on. I do want to add just a little bit up on that brow bone. So I'm going to take that shimmer that we used. I'm going to just touch my finger into there a little bit. And I'm just going to put that right on the edge of the brow bone right here. And we're just going to tap that a little bit. We're going to give a little shimmer right here. I'm going to wipe the tip of my finger off. I'm just going to come back with a little extra shimmer right here. There we go. Okay, so now we've tried a couple of different new products. What are we gonna do? We want this to stay all day. We do not want this to go anywhere. So I am gonna grab my Juvia's Place, Ready, Set, Sealed. We're gonna give that a shake. We're gonna give that a spray. And now this is going to stay all day. We're not going to have to think about it. We're not going to have to touch it. It is just going to stay like that. And then for as long as that smell will stay with us, we get that delicious Juvia's Place scent with us. Okay, so thank you so much for hanging out with me here today. I look forward to chatting with you throughout the week on social media. And go ahead and take a picture of what you've done. Maybe use different colors last week or this week. Let me see what you did. I'd love to celebrate the look that you achieved with you. So again, we have finished chapter 1. We are on to chapter 2 now. Let me get us over to our review. There we go. Let's look at that together. So James 1:1. I, James, am a slave of God and the Master Jesus, writing to the 12 tribes scattered to kingdom come. Hello! Let me see if I can get it to go. We'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I needed a little help with the first word. What do we got first? Oh, consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into the open. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so that you may become mature and well-developed, not deficient in any way. If you don't know what you're doing, ask the Father. He loves to help. And you won't be condescended to when asking for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the Father that way. Being adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. When down and outers get a break, cheer. When the arrogant and rich are cut down to size, cheer. Prosperity is as short-lived as a wildflower, so don't ever count on it. You know that as soon as the sun rises, pouring down its scorching heat, the flower withers, its petals fade, and before you know it, that beautiful face is a barren stem. Sorry, I was trying to remember the lyrics from the song. Well, that's a picture of the prosperous life. At the very moment, everyone is looking on in admiration. It fades away to nothing. Let's see. Anyone who meets a testing challenge head on is mighty fortunate. For such persons loyally in love with God, the reward is life and more life. Don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to sin belongs to us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing temptation of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up and becomes a real killer. So, my very dear friends, don't get thrown off course. Every desirable and perfect gift comes out of heaven. The gifts are rivers of light cascading down from the Father of light. Father of light. There is nothing deceitful in God, nothing two-faced, nothing fickle. He brought us to life using the true word, showing us off as the crown of all his creatures. Post us at all the intersections, dear friends. Lead with your ears, follow up with your tongue. Yeah, lead with your ears, follow up with your tongue, and let anger straggle along in the rear. God's righteousness doesn't grow from human anger. Yes. So throw all spoiled virtue and cancerous evil in the garbage. In simple humility, let your gardener God landscape you with the word, making a salvation garden of your life. I don't know why that one's so hard. I guess because it's kind of a tongue twister. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you are a listener when you are anything but. Letting the word go in one ear and out the other. Act on what you hear. Those who don't act are like those who glance in the mirror and then walk away, and 2 minutes later forget, I have no idea who they are or what they look like. But whoever catches a glimpse of the revealed counsel of God, the free life. I like this song too. This was probably my second choice. Even out of the corner of his eye and sticks with it, he is no distracted scatterbrain, but a man or woman of action. That person will find delight and affirmation in the action. And then this one, which I still need to work on just a little bit. Anyone who sets himself up as religious by talking a good game is self-deceived. This kind of religion is hot air and only hot air. Real religion is the kind that passes muster. Passes muster before God the Father. It's this: reach out to the homeless and the loveless in their plight and guard against corruption from the godless world. Okay, so still a little rough on the end, but going good. How's it going for you? All right. So then we've got our verse today, which is, let me see if I can find that one. Okay, my dear friends, don't let public opinion influence how you live out your glorious Christ-oriented faith. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit and a street person wearing rags comes in right after him, and you say to the man in the suit, "Sit here, this is the best seat in the house," and either ignore the street person or say, "You better sit here in the back row," haven't you segregated God's children and proved that you are judges who can't be trusted? All right, so that is our review for this week. And we'll be working on chapter 2 now. So keep working on chapter 1. You don't want to forget that. Don't get to the next thing. So the book we've been talking about is Color Me James. Again, we're in James chapter 2. This is an ebook. It's in paperback, and then it's also in spiral bound. Go to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com, and all of those options are going to be available there for you. All right, so Beauty and Grace Insider. This has 3 different membership levels. The last one, which is the highest one, which is the Cherished Queen, you actually get the ebook for free with that one. So best value, I would say, is do the Cherished Queen membership level. That's on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com, little makeup, lot of Jesus, and then /join. You can just go to the YouTube channel and then hit /join at the end, and then you'll be there. I don't know why they made it so difficult to get there, but there you go. So lots of fun there, lots of insider stuff. You'll get questions. You'll actually get to help formulate what it is that what look we're gonna be doing next, what colors are we gonna be playing with, all that kind of good stuff. And now that we're deep, we're going to also begin a weekly memorization, like a midweek check-in, where we have the opportunity, if you so choose, to say your verse and quote your verse out loud with us. All right. So let me give a blessing to you as you go out this week from Numbers chapter 6, verse 24 through 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Heavenly Father, I am so thankful for each one of these ladies that have come and hung out with me here today. Those who have followed the journey all the way from chapter 1, now fully into chapter 2. I pray a blessing over them this week. I pray that you would bless us as we work and diligently strive to hide your word in our heart, Father, just as you have told us to do, that you would give us that extra measure of memorization skill that we do not naturally possess. Father, I just pray that you would make these words come back to our mind, just flood into our memory when we need them the most, and that we would have them ready and accessible in our mind and in our heart for those around us who need to hear these words as well. Father, just make us an instrument and use us for your glory, for your purpose. I just pray that you would send them out this week in a blessing, whether they're live here now or they're hearing this later on. Father, let them have that blessing, I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, it has been a joy to hang out with you today. I look forward to seeing you on social media throughout this week, and I hope that you will send me pictures. Let me see what you did. Let me see what it looked like. Y'all have a great week. Goodbye. God bless, and I love you. Mwah.